How's everyone doing today? So today we're going to talk about database and EMET. EMET stands for Enhanced Mitigation Experience Toolkit. My name is Calvin Barber, and I go to Kennesaw State University. This is for the class of ISA 4220 with Andrew Green. Let's get started. So the agenda today, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about a database, hardening of a database, and then we're going to talk about EMET and also the hardening of EMET. Let's get into it. So first off, what we're going to talk about, we're going to start off with database. So basically, what is a database? Getting into it, a database is a collection of information that is basically organized so that can be easily accessed, managed, or updated. The collection of like data or information from a company. And then there are four key concepts with a database, or that makes up a database, which are data definition, which is like the creation or modification or removal of definitions that define the organization of how the data is organized, and then update, which is inserting or modification or deletion of the actual data. Then you have retrieval, which is like providing information in a form directly usable or further processing of other applications for the data. And then you also have administration, which is like registering and like monitoring users or enforcing data security, monitoring performance, or maintaining data integrity, which is it deals with control. So getting more into how a database works and like how a database stores a company's data. It does this by it's probably much more simpler than you think, but databases use a series of tables to store the data. The data is just simply refers to a two-dimensional representation of your data using columns and rows. So for instance, you could think about it as like an Excel sheet, how like first row would be like first name, second row would be your last name, and then you could throw an email in there, and just it's like in columns of how the database works, and then like you can set up them differently to store data. There also are different softwares or different database softwares that can be used with the database server, and some of them are like open source, which is MySQL, MongoDB, and then Progress SQL. And then for commercial software for a database, it would be my MS QL, and then MS SQL, and then you have Oracle as well. Those are for commercial software. Getting into hardening of a database, it's a little bit different, or I don't know why it's a little bit different. Sorry, hardening of a database. Getting into firewalls for the database. This is basically you will want to make sure you have the database server and know where it's located behind a firewall with the default rules to deny any traffic that is not needed. And then the database server firewall should be like opened only to specific application or web servers, and firewall rules that do not allow like direct access to the direct client access. And then also the firewall rule change should be the firewall rule change control procedures are in place just for extra protection. And then getting down to database auditing. Database auditing should be done for all logins to the operating system and database servers. Just for successful and unsuccessful logins should be logged in the database, and these logs should be retained for at least a year. And then database objects with restricted data have auditing turned on where technically possible. So basically anyone logging in or trying to connect to the database, it should be logged. Getting into database software, like updated database software. The database software version is currently supported by like a vendor or open source project, like I just talked about the different softwares, but make sure it's up to date, and then so that restricts any hackers being able to infiltrate your database and stealing all your data. And then you also want to do like any unused or unnecessary services or functions of the database should be removed or turned off. And then securing administrator accounts, this is typical throughout just security in general. You should have a strong password, and then you can make a different administrator account, and you just want to have a strong password, at least 9 characters long, and then have a different character in there, maybe an exclamation point or like underscore or dash or something like that, which will make it even more hard for a hacker to crack. Getting into Enhanced Mitigation Experience Toolkit, basically, what does EMT do? The Enhanced Mitigation Experience Toolkit is the utility that helps prevent vulnerabilities in software from being successfully exploited. And then EMET achieves this goal by using security mitigation technologies. There are 12 mitigation techniques, and those techniques are, a few of them are data execution prevention, which is the security feature that helps prevent code and system memory from being used incorrectly. And then you also have mandatory address space layout randomization, which is the technology that makes it difficult for exploits to find specific addresses in the systems. And then you also have structured expectation handler override protection, which is a mitigation that blocks or exploits that attempt to exploit the overflows. And then also you have export address table accessing filtering, which is the technology that blocks an exploit ability to find the location of a function. So like why is this needed? Why should a user use Enhanced Mitigation Experience Toolkit? You should use it because it provides protection from hackers. The concept basically is it allows added protection from the methods that hackers use to compromise systems, through exploitation. So it's just like an extra protection for a corporation's databases or just overall company. And then EMET has injections, and basically how it works is EMET works by injecting an emet.dll into running executables to provide memory level protections and mitigations against common exploit techniques. So those are the different injections that EMET uses. Getting into hardening of EMET, EMET contains like a code for clean mitigations, which is it's like a tool that also contains a code that is responsible for unloading mitigations in a clean way. So it doesn't, in the previous update, or in the previous, I believe it was EMET 4.1, the version EMET 4.1, attackers, with the second bullet point, attackers were able to turn EMET against itself, which was like hackers were able to easily disable the Microsoft EMET, basically the free tool that Microsoft offers, and they're able to turn it against itself, which then enabled the hacker to get into where they needed to be. And then with their new update with 5.5, which is the EMET that we're talking about currently, they have updated that, and hackers are not able to turn EMET against itself. So that's really good. These are the references that I used to find some of this information. These are some good sources if you have any questions, or if you want to look up further information about a database or EMET. And then thank you for listening as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.